Hey everybody, Charlie902 here, and well, I'm interrupting today's video because parts 3, 4, and 5 of my Myst playthrough, I've lost the live commentary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewatch these episodes and overdub with my thoughts of what was going on during the time when I made these choices and when I played through. Please forgive me, I'll try the best I can, but after episode 5, starting with episode 6, the live commentary is intact and should be okay, so just episodes 3, 4, and 5 will have post-playthrough commentary. Sorry for the inconvenience, and enjoy the episode. Hey everybody, post-gameplay editing, Charlie902 here, to give you some post-gameplay commentary on episode 4. When we last left off, we completed the sound puzzle of the Salentic Age. We found this vehicle that looks like a submersible, and now we are in some form of rail labyrinth. So we're going to continue on through here and try to make our way through this rail labyrinth. Now, when I was playing this, I noticed it makes a sound when you press this button when what looks like a domed speaker. And we're going to continue forward here, heading northeast. And if you'll notice, this one curves. So now we're no longer heading northeast, now we are heading northwest. So the inverse of northwest would be southeast. So when I was playing this, what I was doing was writing down notes on the note app on my phone, and I would put down, okay, we went and we went to this room here, and we arrived from the southeast, so that we know when we turn around, we look at these routes, that the southeast is the route that we came from. Now we're going to use this method of basically just writing down which direction we chose to go, what all directions are available to us, and which direction is the inverse of the one that we arrived on, so that we know which one we came from. And we're going to use that method ad nauseum to complete this underground labyrinth here. While I'm doing this, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to one of my subscribers, Tada, with an exclamation point at the end, T-A-D-A. They're the ones that let me know that these episodes, or at least the last episode, didn't have live commentary. And they were dismayed because they said that they enjoyed watching my thought process when I was trying to figure out these puzzles. And I agree, that's why I watch games like this. I watch other YouTubers play games, because I want to see their genuine live reactions, and I want to see their thought processes when they're attempting to figure things out, or encountering new game mechanics, or even trying to just figure out what game mechanics there are in a video game. To me, that's the most fascinating part. So I apologize for losing the commentary on episodes 3, 4, and 5. I'll do my best during this post-gameplay overdubbed commentary here to kind of explain what I was thinking. At the time that I'm recording the audio to this previous game recording, this would be 2 days after I actually played this. So it's still pretty fresh in my mind, my thought process and what I was doing as I was going through this. So once again, you'll see me, I'm heading south here. And once I arrive in this room, I'll write down a note that I came from the north. And then I will turn to each direction. There are 8 directions total from each of these rooms. And try to figure out where I can go. And I will continue on. Another thing that was vexing me when I was going through this was the sounds that played when I reached each area. There was either a combination of sounds or a single sound, and to this day I still don't know what those meant other than just to confuse me. So like you hear that hollow ting sound, and then I'll write down that yes, we can head this direction. So I believe in this one, the reason I'm not checking every direction is because we are heading backwards, because we have reached a dead end. So now we're going to reach somewhere else, and that we've already marked off our map, the directions that we've went. And I say map, it's really just a list of notes, and then we're going to rotate and find the various other directions that we can go. And I believe the reason that we're waiting here is I'm actually going through my notes and marking off the directions that we went on that dead-end tangent. So now we're going to look around, see where we can go. This is very reminiscent to me of games of, well, this era, 1993-ish, mid-90s, when this type of maze was kind of common. Usually there weren't 8 directions. Usually you went like a grand total of 4 directions with various dungeon crawling games. And I remember some of the other like adventure style games like King Quest had some maps in it and stuff like that. And what you would have to do is you'd have to get some graphing paper, right? And you would set this graphing paper down and you would come up with your own symbology for a map, and you put, okay, this is start point. You know, if I go this way, there's a death waiting for me, or a pitfall. If I turn right and left, and eventually you would fill out this graphing paper. And it was almost like a rite of passage to complete these maps on your own. And you take them to school and share them with other people who were playing similar games. And you know, the internet wasn't really a thing back then. It existed, but it wasn't super common to have it in your house and to use it for, you know, information like video game secrets and answers and stuff like that. It was more word of mouth, or maybe you read a video game magazine. I don't even know that those exist anymore either, but you know, and you look for hints and tips. A lot of times games like this, they would have an official strategy guide, and you would go to the video game store and you would purchase this strategy guide, and it would have maps and tips and everything in it too. Pretty much just like cheating. You would just follow the steps in the strategy guide to finish the game. But in today's age, you know, you just Google the answer to just about anything. So this style of game has kind of went to the wayside because of that, and I kind of miss that. That being said, this particular labyrinth that we're going through, I feel like in hindsight after playing it, that this labyrinth went on a little bit too long. I think they could have chopped off about a third of it and maybe increased the difficulty a little more, and I think it would have served the same purpose. But that's also coming from someone who records video game gameplay for the purpose of entertainment, and I think that makes me hyper aware of the passage of time and the more tedious parts of video games, because I feel like they're less entertaining and I need to, you know, spice them up with commentary or keep them entertaining or keep the pace of a game going. And when a pace slows down to a crawl like this with not much changing on the screen, as a content creator, I'm acutely aware of that. And I think that makes sections like this that are tedious seem even more tedious to personnel such as myself. Let me know in the comments what you think, if this went on too long, if it's too tedious. I have the luxury of doing the commentary to this post gameplay because of losing the commentary, so I think I can kind of fill the void a little better now since I'm not focused on actually trying to figure out this maze, because I can assure you when I was playing this, the commentary was not as engaging because I was focused on directions and writing notes. But we'll continue on with the gameplay here. You'll see that whenever I'm not looking at a direction that I came from, that I pause for a second, and that is because I'm writing down that I can go that direction. I'm actually going to pull up the notes on my screen. I'm going to read from the top here. As I got, came from west, can go northeast, south, came from north, can go southeast, came from north, can go west, southeast, and then I have an X let me know that southeast was a wrong way. And yeah, it just continues to go down for like 3 or 4 phone screens worth of notes that I took a few days ago when I was playing this. Every once in a while you'll notice me, I'll press that button in the middle which replays whatever sound plays when you arrive somewhere. I'm sure there is significance to that, but what that significance is, I would have to Google the answer because I did not find out during the gameplay. Such as right here, I'm pressing the ting button. And at this moment I'm thinking that means wrong, and I'm thinking the ding means good, so I'll go backwards and I'll press this button again, and I'll hear the ding sound, which generally when you hear a ding like that, that means that you've done something correctly. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure out the sounds here. Didn't quite have them figured out, so let's check all our directions again. If memory serves me correctly, we end up having to go back the way we came on this one anyway. And in my mind, during the time I was playing this, this solidified the fact that that ting sound meant that it was a dead end. Doesn't make it the case, though. So now we return and we go the other direction that was available to us at this time. Looks like it's northwest. Which I believe is Kanye West's son's name, Northwest. Not even trying to be funny, I think that's actually the name, right? Alright, so we have west. We'll write down that that's a direction we could head. That's the direction we're going to go. And even though we head west, this turns. So we're actually coming in from the south, which means we came, or we're headed south, which means we came in from the north. And now we have two sounds. We got that chittering sound and more of a bassy, empty tin can sound. So we can head southwest. And looks like it's going to be southwest. Notice the sound hasn't changed based on the direction we're facing, so that was about the only thing I had kind of going for me, other than each room seems to have a different sound or combination of sounds. Now it's just the chittering sound. And by chittering sound, I mean like it reminds me of like an insectoid type of sound, if that makes sense. So we got west, so we'll mark down we could head west. We can also head east. Then there's south. I'll tell you what, if there wasn't a compass on this, it would have been much more difficult. Still doable, but you would have had to been a lot more aware of how many rotations and turns you're doing and which direction you were facing when you're doing these rotations and turns. I almost think that if there was no compass, they could have made this shorter but more complex, and you would have actually had to drawn the map, like drawn each room with the directions you could go from. Whereas in this case, I just kind of made a list of all the directions on each room and which way I went. So now we got the ding sound and we have the chittering sound. we can head northwest. East, which is where we came from, I believe. South. And we're writing down that we're going to head northwest. Now, in hindsight, I don't know if there is a clue anywhere that tells us which way to go. Maybe there's a map or something that I missed. Or maybe even a series of directions. But what seems to work for me is process of elimination and brute force, which, though it works, I don't know is the most efficient way of doing these things. It's almost like how you would approach a maze in real life, where like the simplest, easiest way is to just follow one wall. And what I mean by that is, like, if you enter a hedge maze and you put your hand on the right wall, and as you walk, you never remove your hand from that right wall. Like, you follow it around in every direction. In theory, you should finish the maze simply by following that one wall. Now, I didn't do quite like this to complete this maze. What I ended up doing was, like I stated earlier, just writing down the directions and then eliminating them. I didn't always choose the rightmost or leftmost direction. I really just chose whatever was closest once I figured out which ways we could go. And then once again, still being vexed by the sounds. Heading northeast, which means we came from the southwest. And now we have just the ding. I believe I was writing down in my notes where we were at. Not where we were at, but what we just did, which direction we came from. Southwest, I believe, is the way we came from. Northwest is the direction we can go. As well as north. Now, looking at this in hindsight, we can tell this direction looks different. It's like a vast open space here, with just these towers with the spheres and spikes on top of them. Whereas before, we've been in like a tunnel going through here. Okay, we make it to another room. Two sounds here. And here's where I notice, okay, this looks different. But before we go this way, let's make sure there's nothing else. Let's do our due diligence. Takes us right back to this different looking path. So we're going to write down that we're going to head southeast, and let's take this path. And
here we are at what looks like a destination. Now, as soon as we got here, I thought we had to press the button to raise up. Obviously, that wasn't the case. And then I also had the sense of dread that maybe there were multiple destinations within this labyrinth to go to. And I was keeping my fingers crossed that that wasn't the case, because I didn't want to have to come back and do this labyrinth again, for obvious reasons. It was a little dull, a little dry. We managed to make it through, though. So here we are at the platform of sorts. Do our due diligence, look around, look at our submersible-looking vehicle, and then we come in here and see these awesome-looking crystals. There are definitely some cool sights in this game. And then I remember making the remark here that, like, you know, it almost seems like we may not be able to survive the heat in here, but we seem to be all right. And there's a book. We click on it, and yeah, we recognize where that's at. It's the ceiling of the library. Let's click on it. And we got a Celentic achievement. And here we are back in the library. And now I remember that I'm going to have to read a book to you again. All right, so we're going to walk down. I think we know what we need to put into the clock here based off of the picture we took in the Celentic age. This picture here. It looks like we're at what, 10:05 or 10:04. So let's try putting that in and see if it works. So we put it in, press the button, and nothing. Try moving minute hand to 10:05. Nope. I don't know why we went with 1 o'clock here, but for some reason I decided to try 1 o'clock. And it's at this moment I'm kind of realizing that I don't really know what to do. We didn't really get a hint from the Celentic age as to how to get into the next age. So we come in here, look at the tower. We notice that we get the red laser on certain areas. We hear the tower moving, and then we go towards the books here. And that's when the page comes out of our inventory and lays beside the book. So, okay, we've got 2 new pages. Maybe this will tell us what to do. Let's click on the red page, and let's hear Red Dude out.
Release me. I beg, fine. You must release me for Release me. This book has become. Bring me the page. I need page, please. Bang. Don't waste time. Look. Don't. My brother is killed. Rogue prison. Bring the red page to me.
All right, so there's Red Page guy. I think his name is Cirrus. And we don't trust him. So let's go listen to Blue Page guy. And we also notice there's, a gem?
like a princess cut diamond, and then here's machetes? Yeah, those are machetes. Let's give the blue page guy a chance.
Rescue me. No. Don't beg you. Be complete. Don't. Always ages. Listen to him. Listen to my brother. You get this fool.
Okay.
Bring me babe. No, this bring out hands. Honestly, implore you. From prison. You must believe me. Retribution. Please, need the blue pages. Please.
Okay, so he seems insane. This guy over here, we don't trust either, but at least he seems not insane crazy like this guy. So it's kind of like we got a choice between the devil we know and the devil we don't. So we read Channelwood. We read the Salentic Age of Myst. Don't remember if we read Mechanical already. Yeah, I think we read Mechanical. Maybe we didn't read the Salentic Age of Myst yet, but we're going to read Stone Ship now. Emmett was the first to live on the rocks. He named them the rocks because that's what they were, a group of sharp rocks clustered together in the middle of a large sea. This was where Emmett lived. He enjoyed his life. Emmett would occasionally swim to nearby rocks as it was never too far of a distance. One day another person appeared on the rocks for no apparent reason to Emmett. Emmett named this new person Branch. Emmett and Branch quickly became friends, swimming and hunting for fish together often. Emmett showed Branch the simple cave in which he lived on the largest rock. Soon Branch discovered a place where he decided to live, also on the same large rock. The sun always shone brightly in their world, and the water was always dazzlingly clear, allowing them to see almost to the deep ocean floor which surrounded them. Though the sun always shone, it was never... I read too fast. It was never too hot for the boys. A light breeze always came from the north and cooled the area down. One day, while Branch was swimming and having fun in the water, he noticed another boy swimming. Branch brought the new boy to Emmett to find out what to call the new boy. Emmett said the boy should be called Will. Will was soon a part of the group, and all three of the boys swam and enjoyed their perfect world. At least that is the story I was told when I arrived today on the island. Emmett, Branch, and Will were surprised to see me at first, but even before the night ended, we were all becoming good friends. Today, the second day on this newly created age, a strange thing happened. It was not strange to me, but the three boys did not understand what was happening. While I was relaxing under a large tree on one of the smaller rock islands, it began to rain. It was a nice rain that lasted for about an hour in the morning. I explained to the boys that the rain was not harmful, yet they obviously still feared it. Before going to sleep tonight, I told the boys I would leave the following day. I told them that while I was gone, I would make a surprising change in their world. They didn't understand, not that I expected them to. I still do not fully understand what happened today. I was experimenting with the art, testing the limits of the rules as dictated to me by Father. I attempted to create a boat by writing it into the world. I thought everything was planned correctly, yet somehow the boat had become gripped by the rock and broken in half. Although this test did not turn out as I had hoped, I now have... We got a rudimentary drawing of a boat at the top there. We also know that they can write things into existence, the father and apparently the two sons, Achenar and Cirrus? Answers to a few of the questions my father never answered. As for the boat, I can see the boys enjoy it anyway, and with that I am pleased. They have played on it all day. Even though the boat cannot move, I have enjoyed studying from it. It is a much sturdier platform than the jagged rocks.
In the course of my observations, I have learned some very interesting things regarding the solar system of this age. The nights are absolutely beautiful here. I have made note of and named a number of constellations that pass above me. Also during the night, I catch glimmers of light from the horizon which I have not been able to discover if it is. We have a diagram of a submersible lamp, created by some natural phenomenon or by additional people on far-off islands or rocks. I should very much like to discover which. I rather suspect it is additional people, which would explain the appearance of Branch and Will. The rain today was slightly heavier than usual. Just when the boys were getting used to the light rains, a small storm arrived. They were frightened of the heavier rain, not to mention the thunder and lightning. If rain has never fallen here until recently, as the boys tell me, I would like to discover why it is falling now. Regardless, I have decided to return home for a short while. I have also been thinking of some plans for a lighthouse that I hope to construct soon. I think that perhaps by shining a bright light towards the horizon, it might prove my suspicions regarding additional inhabitants. They would be curious about the light and travel to discover its source, if they have the means. I return with many tools that I will need for construction of the lighthouse. I have decided that once the lighthouse is completed, I will leave for some time and let the world's own imagination have control. We have worked 3 weeks on the lighthouse now and are making great progress. The rock that we are building on seems to not be as secure as I would like. I have had to alter my plans slightly, but those alterations pose no real problem. The boys are quite strong and have been helping me immensely. I estimate construction will be done within 2 days. And then we notice that the light from the lighthouse comes out the top of the roof, which seems odd. The lighthouse is finished, and we are all proud of our creation. The boys are amazed at the structure wrought from the rock with their own hands. That evening, we powered up the generator, much to the boys' dread at first, and shined a great light to the horizon for many hours. I stayed the night in the top of the lighthouse, and in the morning awoke to observe the sunrise without my being coated with the chilly blanket of ocean dew I'd become accustomed to. It was Will who first saw the girl. She was swimming not far from the boat where Will was getting ready to hunt for fish. Then Will noticed a man not far away from the girl. Emmett was very pleased to meet the additional neighbors. I feel pleased to leave this age. I've set in motion events that have nothing to do with writing or the art that will have more profound impact on this world than I could have ever written. I think that might be the end. Let's take a picture of this map. We notice the lighthouse with what appears to be electrical cabling of some sort coming out of it. I think of this age as a gift myself that I will wrap up and open someday in the future, only to discover it has changed so much that indeed it is a surprise. Besides, I've yet another new age that awaits me. It seems I'm going to need some way to travel underwater in this new age, and so much planning is in order. It has been 10 years since I left this age, which I have since called the Stone Ship Age. Upon returning, I cannot believe the changes that have taken place. The original 3 boys have grown into adults, and there are many new faces that I do not recognize. Branch told me that it has not rained for 7 years, and the cool breezes are back again. They are all very content and have been serving me with new foods and showing me new materials they have discovered. It even seems they have found gold somewhere. I see it in many forms around this island. My lighthouse has been kept. This must be Cirrus writing this, since he notices the gold. In perfect condition, and it looks as if they have tried their very best to keep it so. You have noted the entire rock it was built on sunk approximately 40 or 50 centimeters. After a wonderful visit with my old friends, I wonder aloud with them what things will be like here in another 10 years. And now we have constellations. So we've got an anchor, an eye and a snake, a tick and a Templar cross, arrow and a flamingo, and a leaf. And we've seen those symbols before outside. So that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry that my commentary cannot be live for this episode, but episode 6 on will be live. If you enjoy my content, please consider a like, a comment, and or a subscribe. Stay tuned for the next episode, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.